Hi, Grace Fellowship. This is Pastor Brian, and I'm here to talk with you a little bit about the church revitalization process that we have going on. This last Sunday, I preached a sermon kind of explaining all of it and wanted to record a shorter, maybe like I'm hoping 10 to 15 minutes to just give you the basics of what we're doing. We don't want you to be in the dark, and we in fact want your feedback and help as we go through this process. And so I'm just going to explain a little bit what it is. This is just going to be the main points that I brought up on Sunday, so it'll be familiar for any of those, for any of you who were there on Sunday or who tuned in online. Um, just to start out, just a little bit of biblical justification. Acts 20:28. Paul tells the elders at Ephesus that they're to pay careful attention to the flock and to care for the church. And so we want to not only just pay attention, but to pay careful attention. And so a lot of the plans that we're making, our goal is to have intentional plans for church growth, to make intentional plans for discipleship and outreach, to make intentional plans to integrate people into our church. We don't want to, if we have success as a church, we don't want it to be an accident. And so, part of coming up with a plan and going through a process is to make these. Make intentional ideas that we can help us to pay careful attention to the flock. Proverbs 11:14 talks about the benefits of an abundance of counselors. In an abundance of counselors, there is safety. We have a team working with this. Our leadership, our elders and deacons are involved in this, and so it's all something that a number of people are speaking into. And we're working with an organization to help us through this. And Psalm 78:72. I think kind of helps justify this, talking about David's shepherding of the people of Israel. The psalmist says, with an upright heart, he shepherded them and guided them with his skillful hand. We want to not only shepherd God's people, but we want to be skillful. And sometimes you're trying to do things that you don't have a lot of skill in, that you don't have a lot of background in. And so we're working with an organization called Assist. Our church is a part of fellowship of churches called Charis Fellowship. It's a large group of churches that is uh, is across the entire world, and Assist is the organization in North America that helps with church planting, and it helps smaller churches go through a revitalization process like this. And so we're working with them because of their expertise. We're working with them because we know that they're like-minded. They're a Charis organization, and also, they help us for free because they're a Charis organization. We're a Charis church, and we like the benefits that they can bring us without having huge costs involved. They just genuinely care about our group of churches and want to help. Any churches that want to go through a revitalization process in North America, they want to help those churches. So our team is 6 people. It is myself, my wife Angela. It is Matt and Bambi Wines. It is Kent Drinkwater and Carlos Paz. The 6 of us are uh, are all meeting regularly and talking through these things. We're at different times soliciting feedback from you, and we're going to keep you updated about the process throughout the year, so you'll know what's going on. We don't want any of this to be a surprise. We just want you to know what's happening, to know our plans. And so that's our plan right now, is to just tell you what we're planning, and to get your feedback, and to hopefully get you praying about what might be. And so, especially with Assist, there are 3 kind of main things that we're thinking through. We're referring to them as pathways. We're trying to make intentional plans. We're trying to create an outreach pathway, a discipleship pathway, and an assimilation pathway, or a integration pathway. So outreach is, how would we get someone who has never come to our church to come to our church once? It's all outreach is. someone who has never come to our church to come to our church once. There are a variety of reasons people come to our church. When someone new comes, a lot of times I'll ask them, how did you find us? Why were you looking? A lot of people are looking for us because they just moved to the area and are looking for a new church. People find us through the alumni network from my seminary. Sometimes people say that they've lived in the area for a long time. They've driven by our church multiple times, and finally they decided to try us. Those are all great reasons, and we hope that those will all continue into the future, that people will come to our church for those reasons also. But we want to have some of the things that we do, especially the things that we're intentionally doing for outreach, we want them to result in people coming and people showing up. And so we're going to have these, referring to them as waves, something that has a beginning and an end and sort of like builds up and will hopefully be a way that people who might never have come to our church otherwise would be willing to try us. So the idea is to have some fun things that anyone might want to come to at our church at the end of January. We're having the Art Barn come in. A number of you are familiar with the Art Barn. It's a really popular art studio for children and families in our community. We're having the Art Barn come in to do a painting night with a number of kids that they can sign up. And so we want some things that um, are just for fun. We want maybe some kind of medium things, some things that would be helpful to parents, that would be helpful to adults, that would be helpful to kids, that maybe aren't just fun, but aren't a completely spiritual thing like a Bible study or a church service or something like that. We want to have some things in the middle that maybe are based on spiritual principles, that might have a sort of light or maybe medium amount of Jesus talk, we'll call it. But that might be helpful. And so we might start some things where we bring in some subject matter experts to talk on some things that we would care about for a couple of hours on a Saturday. We might have some things for parenting and for marriage that might help people. We've talked about doing things on productivity, on how to change the oil of your car, any number of different things that are something maybe slightly more serious, slightly more intimate than just something that's fun for the whole family, but isn't um, isn't a just a regular church service or Bible study. And so we're trying to run two waves, one in the spring and one in the fall, that will sort of peak with Easter or Christmas, and we're hoping that we'll start seeing some better effectiveness from the outreach specific events that we plan. So we're also planning a discipleship pathway. Outreach is how to get someone who has never come to our church to come to our church once. Discipleship is for people who are attending our church regularly. Someone who has decided to be part of our church, who is going to be here. What do we want people at our church to do? And for some people, they may have never gone to a church before. They don't know what a committed church member is supposed to do. For other people, they may have gone to other churches, but what does our church want them to do now that they're here? We have a few different things. We're gonna start some different things on the fifth Sunday of every month. We're doing pizza with the pastor. That'll be every 3 to 4 months, and it will be for any families who have started coming to our church in the last 3 to 4 months. It'll be just a really low commitment time. It'll be right after church. We'll feed you pizza. I'll be there to talk to you about our church, and you can ask any questions about it. Just a really easy way for you to get some FaceTime with me and just get a little more information about our church. And then we're trying to develop two different things along this pathway. We want one set of things that we want everyone to do once at our church, and then some things that you'll do on an ongoing basis. And so all of this is stuff that we're in the middle of developing. We don't have the final form of all of this, but we're gonna develop some kind of thing where Um, just as an example, just to give you some way to think about this, maybe we'll have a 4 week class on worship, discipleship, service, and outreach. Who knows? And we offer that 4 week class. It's the same class. Maybe we offer it twice a year. And we say, we want everyone to do this one time, or maybe we want everyone to do it, every 5 years or something like that. But something that teaches you about our church, about what we believe, about how we practice certain things, and it just kind of gets everyone on the same page. And it's something for everyone to do, so that way we can start building a church culture where everyone kind of knows what we're about and knows what we're trying to do. So it might be longer than that, or shorter than that, or totally different than that, but that's just kind of an idea to give you a sense of what we're thinking about. And then we're going to start small groups, home groups, growth groups. There's a lot of different names for these community groups that different churches start, but we're going to start them this year. Our plan for small groups is to not have every small group do the exact same thing. Small group leaders will be able to choose something that has been approved by our leadership, but something that they're excited about that they can do. And small groups will all last for the same amount of time, but they won't all do the same thing. And that'll give us some opportunity to try some different things. We'll do a small group in the spring, a small group in the summer, and a small group in the fall. And in the fall, that'll be the one where all the small groups actually do the same thing. So they'll do different things in the spring and summer, and then there'll be everyone doing the same in the fall. It's kind of our plan for small groups. That's something that we'll want people to be a part of on an ongoing basis. Small groups will last for 10 to 12 weeks. They'll be for 12 to 15 people per group. And that's something we're really excited about and think will be helpful. And that'll help as we come up with new ideas that can take the form of these small groups. Sometimes small groups might be that, that discipleship pathway that we want everyone to do once, and maybe once a year. We offer that during our small group time. But that just gives us some options, and it lets small group leaders do something that they're really excited about. And it's nice to sign up for something that has a beginning and an end. And so you'll be able to do a group. It'll last for a short amount of time, and then you'll get a little break before we start up small groups again. So those are the basic ideas for our discipleship pathways and outreach pathways. We also have an assimilation pathway or an integration pathway. If outreach is how do we get someone to show up one time, and if discipleship is okay, now you're coming consistently, you're coming every week, what are we going to do with you? Assimilation is how do we bridge the gap between those two? How do we turn someone who has only showed up once into a committed member of our church? That's what we're trying to do with assimilation. We're trying to have a significantly more robust follow up method with newcomers. We're trying to utilize our connection card a lot more. For those of you who've been coming every week, you've noticed we're having everyone fill out a connection card every single week. We're trying to create a culture of just everyone gets it out, everyone fills it out. This is a totally normal thing to make newcomers feel more comfortable giving us some information. We're not trying to follow up with newcomers forever. We're not trying to harass them forever. But if you've come to our church, we want to get you some information. We want to give you a gift, not just on Sunday morning. We'll literally send you a gift in the mail. And we're just wanting to follow up in a better way, in a more useful way, in a more fruitful way, really. And that'll help us be able to tell people about some of the things that we're doing for a couple of weeks after they come, and we're hopeful that that will help bridge the gap, turn someone from someone who's only come once to someone who's coming every week. So those are the main pathways. But we also have some other things that we're trying to do at our church. We're trying to um, work on any number of building improvements. One of the joys of being at a church that started in the 1940s is that we've been in our neighborhood for a long time. We've been part of our community for a long time. But our church building, I believe, was finished in 1952 or 53, and that's kind of an old building. And so we've done any number of things in the years leading up to me pastoring this church, and we've done even more since I've been the pastor here, and we want to do even more than that. We're talking about completely redoing the downstairs family room and making that a room that is just better looking, nicer to go to things in, nicer to drop your children off for children's ministry if you're doing that. So we're talking about redoing the floor, redoing a lot of things. We want to get new windows for the building. Um, there are some smaller things that we want to do, but some of them really are a little bit bigger. Um, we've even talked about expanding our lobby, making the lobby as you come in big enough to have a coffee bar, our connection corner for people to go and get information after the service, as well as a bathroom that is upstairs. Right now, you got to go downstairs for all of for the bathroom, either down the stairs or down the ramp, and it's just not really that convenient. And so, could we possibly expand our lobby to make some of those things just more convenient and not block the entrance as people are coming in and out? There's a lot of things right now. I believe we have about 30 improvements, 30 to make to our building that we would love to do within the next year. And so we'll definitely do some of them, but both time and money, will determine how much that we can do. But we want to give our building continually kind of give it a glow up to make it better and better and more useful for the kind of ministry that we're doing. And then we're trying to develop our church culture as well. When we talk about church culture, what we mean is that there are things that we want to talk about, and there are things that we want to be about. And we really need both of those things. We have to talk about the kind of church that we are. We have to talk about the kind of church that we want to be, what our aspirations are. And then we have to get down to the work of doing those things. And so you're going to start hearing us talk more and more about what we want the culture of our church to be in the sermons, in the announcements, in small groups. We're developing a purpose statement, a set of values that's going to come up in all of the things that we do, and will be a way for us to evaluate our ministries to make sure that we're doing the things that we say that we value. But we want to talk about it and we want to be about it. This is all sort of gathering momentum to do what we're calling a relaunch. I don't want that word to scare you. It's just a convenient word to use. What we really mean by a relaunch is a marketing campaign. The plan is for either ideally in early 2023, but if we need more time, then bumping that back to fall of 2023. But ideally in early 2023, relaunching our church, going through a marketing campaign where what we'll do is we'll reintroduce ourselves to the community. We'll let people know, hey, if you've lived here and you've never tried our church, man, you should come by sometime and try our church. And if you used to go here or have come before and just haven't in a long time, we've there've been a lot of changes. We're really excited about what we're doing, and we'd love for you to try our church again. And so we're everything that we're doing is building toward that 2023 relaunch. Um, in terms of changes, we're not promising that we're going to change literally every single thing about the church. We love our church and we really believe in the ministry that we're doing here. But as we go through these changes, we hope that we'll consider changing everything and we'll think through everything that we're doing that is helpful, everything that we're doing that maybe is hindering our ministry and we never really even realized it. But we just want to think through all the things that we're doing. We want to make intentional plans so that way our church is successfully reaching out to our community, proclaiming the gospel, and our church is successfully discipling the people who are here, mentoring them and bringing them along in the faith so that the people who are here are more faithfully following Jesus every day. How can you be involved? We would love for you to pray for our church and our team and our leadership as they're going through this. We want to bring you regular updates so you know what to pray for. But we really believe that prayer is going to be an important part. I'm really glad that this whole thing does not involve some sort of capital campaign. The plan is for our current normal church budget to be able to absorb the cost of all of this. That's the advantage of working with Assist. This is not, there's not some huge cost for all of the help that they're bringing us. We're just trying to um, make this work on a normal budget. So if everyone keeps doing what they are already doing, we should have enough money to do this. However, if you have never really given consistently to the church, if that's never really been a part of your normal ministry, I hope you would consider giving. The more people give, the more we'll be able to do, the more building improvements we'll be able to make, the more we'll be able to scale some of these ministries to handle more and more people, or try some bigger and better ideas, or the more we'll be able to just start saving up for the 2023 marketing campaign, or try out some new, advertising ideas or things like that. And so, if you've not given before, or you've never really thought about giving consistently, I would encourage you to do so. You can give on our website. You can set up automatic giving. And obviously you can give in the service as well. But I would love for you to consider that. Um, just some other smaller things that you can do to be involved. Keep when you come, keep filling out that connection card every week to help create the church culture we're aiming for. We're planning a cleanup of the downstairs family room on February 5th. We'd love for you to be a part of that. When we start advertising growth groups, we'd love for you to sign up for one of those. And even though we want to hear your concerns and questions, we want to hear your ideas, we'd love for you to just have a positive attitude about this, to be really excited about some of the things that our church is planning to do, and that you'd even bring your questions, bring your concerns. But we really hope that you'll be an encouragement to the team that's working on this, and to our leadership. We're just really excited about all of that, and so I hope you're excited about where we're going. 2022 is going to be about starting to implement these things. Some of them we hope are going to work great the first time we do them. Some of them might need a little work. We might do it once or twice and feel like, oh, we need to change that up, but we're hoping to have everything in place for 2023 relaunch. We're really excited. Pray for us, and we're excited to for you to be along with us for this process. That's all I have for today. Uh, we'll see you at church on Sunday. I appreciate you all.